Please put your hands together to our first speaker, Ms. Devangana Lakshmi.
Hi, hello. I'll start with a very heavy sentence. I was taking life too seriously. For years, I was chasing good grades. I was endlessly working myself out to a point that I did not allow travel to, actually make me understand the meaning of actual life that we are living, the fast-paced life. It wasn't until my first solo trip did I give travel a real chance to teach me about life, to step out of my comfort zone, to face all the setbacks that I had in my life, only to realize that it is most important to be a kind person and a far better traveler. Hi, I'm Devangana. I'm an environmental consultant. I am an environmental researcher as well. I advocate about sustainable tourism practices. But above all, I'm a student and travel is my teacher. I'll tell you one story. It was in April 2018 when I decided that's it. I had a complete mental breakdown. While I was chasing so many things in my life, like good grades, working endlessly, I was on the top of my game. But I've completely forgotten the term which is very trending right now, mental health. So on a very impulsive whim, I booked an overnight bus from Pune to Gokarna. You see, it wasn't 2024 when booking a Bali trip for your friend's birthday felt effortlessly because all you see on your Instagram feed was Bali postcards. It was still a beautiful, simpler time when travel was still, came with a lot of planning, came with a lot of jitters. And it was a huge win for a college kid like me that I finally planned my first solo travel. So in April 2018, when I was planning my first solo trip, I was asking myself constantly, there was this one question: was this the right call? I was completely nervous. As I sat on the bus, I just realized one thing: okay, Devangana, let's do this. We have faced so many things in life, let's do this. It's just a travel, it's just a solo travel that you have planned for yourself. Let's go for it. And when I arrived there, I had completely no plans. I had obviously pre-booked my homestay. That was a good thing I did for myself. I put down my luggage and went straight to the beach. Now there I sat quietly and I had a point of self-realization that okay, we have made it. So I started documenting, I started clicking pictures and I saw a lady, a local woman of Karnataka started approaching me. And she was very curious, she was very baffled, and she asked me these two questions: if I was alone and where my family was. And those two questions changed the fate of this travel trip. She invited me over to her house, we shared meals together, I got to see Gokarna in a local's point of view, and she also made me understand the importance of a very invaluable lesson that I learned that day: how locals are the pillars of any tourism industry. Right? No tourism can survive if we are constantly losing out the authenticity of local customs, traditions, and art. So I had all the confidence in the world. I had made it to Gokarna, and the next day I learned that Goa was only 3 hours away from Gokarna. Of course, my spontaneity was on the roof. I'm like, okay, it's Goa. I have to visit Goa. So I was envisioning this beautiful postcard, perfect pictures of Goa, crystal clear water, beautiful shores and coconut trees. And you see these pictures, right, on your social media, and all your favorite influencers. Probably I might add to the point that all the beautiful stories about beautiful destinations. They put it like that. But when I arrived in Goa, the reality was completely different. One of the famous beaches there, the beach was completely scattered with litter, and tourists did not seem to mind at all littering around right in front of the beach. That day, I learned a beautiful lesson again, that travel, as it's marketed, it's often an illusion. It's so much romanticized that the reality is completely different. Now, this is called an advertising deficit in our travel world, where you are pressured to see the fear of missing out on a perfectly beautiful destination holiday if you are not visiting there. But we all know the reality is oftentimes very different. So, as travelers, we have a choice. Will we be the overwhelming guests or be the conscious travelers with mindful actions? Now, let me ask you a quick question here. How many of you have a dream destination to travel to? Okay, I'm so happy people do like traveling. Okay, all right. Now, think about this. It didn't exist anymore. It's pretty tough to think, right? So I get it. Traveling is exhilarating. It's so exciting, but we are missing out on not so fun fact that travel is also harming the very places we love. Today, 1.4 billion travelers travel worldwide each year. That's approximately 45 arrivals every second. Tourism is contributing to 8% of global gas carbon emission, of the entire carbon emission of the world, which is equivalent to a country like Japan, which is equivalent to an entire annual emissions of a country like Japan. On the top of that, we are constantly generating waste, so much that it's 1.3 billion tons of waste every year because of tourism. If you want to imagine what it looks like, imagine a pile of trash, same the size of India's second highest mountain peak, Nanda Devi, not just once, but 10 times over. Pretty bizarre, right? And on the top of this, we really have to rethink our tourism relationship with nature, because we are constantly degrading our coral reefs. We are polluting our oceans. We are harming our wildlife, and we are clearing out the forests. So it's not only about these ecosystems, we are constantly putting pressures on beautiful landscapes. For example, for instance, in Himalayas, like I'll give you all Indian examples. In Himalayas, each year, tens and thousands of tourists travel every year because of the pilgrimage sites. What was once a beautiful, peaceful pilgrimage has now turned into a completely environmental destruction. Tourists don't seem to mind littering around these beautiful sites. And on the top of that, we are constantly stripping off our local forests for the firewood to pursue the tourism demand. In Maldives, 30% of coral reefs have been damaged because of the cruise ships and resort destruction. Now, we are destroying the very ecosystem that draws tourists in the very first place. Imagine a single anchor of a cruise ship wiping out half the football field of coral reefs in a single day. And that's just happening quite too often all around the world. When we talk about one of the most famous national parks in US, Yosemite National Park, Now the situation is they have broadened the roads to accommodate more tourists, and the smog is so thick. You can look at the picture. The smog is so thick sometimes it's impossible to even look at the iconic valley from the sky. And this is the entire smog that you're looking in between the mountains because of the pollution. Imagine. So tourism, though beneficial, it's still putting a pressure on the local culture. It's not only about environment, it's destroying the authenticity of local culture and wildlife. For instance, let's take an example of Pushkar Mela in Rajasthan. How many have you have had experience of Pushkar Mela in the past? Wonderful. So you might know what I'm going to talk about. So initially, Pushkar Mela was organized by a local community called Raika in Rajasthan. It was initially organized for livestock trading. It has a beautiful cultural importance. But now it is transformed into activities, tourist activities like beauty contests for camels and races specially designed to entertain tourists. Although I understand the economic benefits we have from tourism, but let's not forget that it's putting a lot of pressure on the customs of local culture. And it's tourists. We are asking for it. We are not asking for the authentic experience. We are asking for Starbucks in Kerala. It's our fault if you really look at it. So, this is my theory. The future of tourism is not just about preservation, it's about regeneration. It's so funny. We go on a vacation, and we do everything under our power just to make nature wish that we just stayed home. Right? It's like, I'm here to relax, but here's some trash, traffic, and pollution for you to deal with. So what can we do? So we have to move towards a newer new. The future of travel is regeneration. So one of the pioneers in regenerative tourism, Anna Pollock, says sustainability is no longer the only solution. We have to make place better for ourselves and leave with so much of good to the community. We have to heal the planet, we have to restore the ecosystem. It's just not enough taking no action at all. So we have to add a new angle to the travel. Now we all know, we are educated people, we all try to reduce, cut down single-use plastics from our lives. We try not to buy souvenirs from coastal areas like, for example, seashells. We know it's harming the coastal environment. It might be somebody's home, some marine animal's home, we get it. But then, as laymen, we might be missing out on opportunities to be mindful of our actions that can further reduce our travel footprint. Why can't we support local businesses over big store chains, over big resorts? And if you think about it, I've always traveled, I think 95% of the times I've always lived with local, and it has been the best experiences all of my life. Because they teach you their way. Why are we traveling in the first place if we want luxuries and comforts of our home and we don't want anything else? Then why are you traveling? Right? For a newer meaning, for authentic experience, to get to know a different culture better. We need constant stimuli, we need a new stimuli. So instead of spending over the big chain stores, why can't we buy crafts from their little store where crafts are really made out of heart? We can all try to travel in a public transportation. I get it, I'm not trying to advocate extremism. If you have to take a flight, take direct flights, take non-stop flights. or the best way possible. This is my favorite way in any destination. If you have the privilege to walk or bicycle, this is just not eco-friendly. You will hit your 10,000 steps target without a gym subscription fee. Or choose experiences over excess. Trust me, 20 years from now, you won't remember your luxury hotels, bathrobe, twirling, transition, get ready with me videos for your Instagram. What you will remember is that one spontaneous salsa class you took in Pondicherry. Because experience lasts, trends, not so much. Try to travel like a local, learn from them. So I was living in Ladakh with locals for quite some time, and one of the most beautiful sustainability lessons that I got ever, that was not from a book, but from those local people. That is how to conserve water. Now, if we imagine Ladakh, we all have this image of Ladakh as such a paradise. It's such a beautiful landscape. It is. But one of the harsh realities of Ladakh is also, it is hugely in necessity of water. Water is just not a resource there, it's the survival of many local people. So what they do, they have these systems called dry toilet systems. It's also known as Ladakhi toilets, where there is no water usage. And they teach travelers that. If we ask for it, they have these systems everywhere in their local houses. So once the waste is separated, it is covered with soil and ash, and it's then ready for decomposition. After a while, it gets composted, and it's ready for the crop fertilization. And this completes a sustainable cycle. I mean, how wonderful is it? And we all know water not only in Ladakh, it's a scarce resource everywhere. So why can't our demands be better? Why can't our minds and hearts be opened to learn these systems, to learn this educational, traditional system? For that, remember, ethical travel starts with you. Right? Any activity which is hindering wildlife. And we are watching these scenarios everywhere in the world. Big commercialized tourism companies or tour operators are offering these kind of systems in many countries. I've witnessed myself, and this is the worst kind of tourism you can ever participate into. Say no to any such kind of activities which pressure wildlife to exhibit very unnatural behaviors. Taking a selfie with a sedated lion, it's not serving any good. It might be actually the cause of the death of the poor animal someday. So if our demands are getting better, tourism has to shift. Tour operators will give you more responsible experiences, which will make your travel experience more richer. If any case. So, I'll come to the concluding point. In the world where we are constantly chasing trends, chase the meaning instead. Be the traveler who listens, learns, and cares. Because it's just not about ticking off destinations from your list, right? It's also about the human connections we have felt, the gratitude we have shown, and the compassion we have cultivated. If you can be anything in the world, try to become a kinder person to the environment, to the ecosystem you're visiting. And for me, if anything, empathy is the real souvenir you bring in your own home. The understanding that the world is bigger than us, that every person, each ecosystem, each culture matters. So what we need is awareness. Awareness of the impact we travelers have to any destination and the willingness to act on it. But most importantly, have fun, step out. show off for your friends, travel the world. And it's time to stop being so seriously in life and start living life sincerely. Because you see, the truth is, it's not just only about the travel, it's about who you become through it. Thank you very much.